Hi, students. So today I wanted to talk about and teach you these things called superlatives. So I'm going to teach you how to use superlatives in English. So what does superlative mean? What does that mean? So when we say superlative, we're talking about words um, or a word that helps you describe things. So we use these things called adjectives, right? That can be like the color, like green, yellow. We also use words like small, right? Or big, or expensive, or cheap, right? So we use those kinds of words to describe things. So what we can do is we can turn those words, we can add something to them to help people know that we're not just describing food or people or places or activities, things that we do, right? We can use it to tell people that it is, compared to everything else, what we use is the best, right? Or the worst. Or we use those kinds of words to tell people that not only is this something that is about it, right? It's not just green, it's the greenest, which means that it's the most green. It's all the other green colors, it's the most green type of thing. And this is important because people can use it to describe something, right? Like, for example, if they say, can you get me the biggest watermelon at the store? It means that they don't just want, they want a big watermelon, but they want the watermelon that is bigger than all of the other watermelons, right? Or you could be at work and um, your supervisor could say, who do you think the best employee is? Meaning, who do you think the best worker is, right? Who is the greatest worker? Who is the worker that does the most? They want to know, right? So in English, the word good, right? You could say, oh, that's some good food. The word that we use to say that it's not just good, but it's the most good, right? It's the greatest, is the word best. So we use the word best. So you could say, this food is good, or you could say, this food is the best. The word bad, another word we can use is worst. Worst. So this food is bad, ugh, right? And you could say, this food is the worst. And the word fun, you can use fun or most fun. Going to the beach is fun, right? It's like, I like to do this. Going to the beach is fun. Going to the beach is the most fun. So those are the ways that we can use it. So what is the difference? What is the difference between these words, these superlatives and adjectives, words that we use to describe things in English? So this is good soup. You're just describing the soup. You're talking about the soup. So if you say this is good soup, it means that you think it's yummy, that you think it tastes nice, right? So you're like, this is good soup. You're describing the soup. You're talking about the soup, only the soup. If you say this is the best soup, or this soup is the best, you are comparing, meaning you are you are comparing that soup to every other soup that you've eaten in your whole life, right? So when you say this is good soup, you're describing only that soup. But if you say this is the best soup, you're saying that this soup is better than all of the other soups. So if you said this, Guadalupe is a good supervisor. What that means in English is you like her. She does a good job. She's a good supervisor, right? You're just talking about Guadalupe. But if you say Guadalupe is the best supervisor, what you're saying is you are comparing her to all of the other supervisors, and she is the best. So she's not just good, right? You like her and she does a good job. You think that she is more good, that she's a better supervisor than all of the other supervisors in the hospital. So that's what it means when you say, oh, they are the best. Or, instead of saying, oh, they're a good supervisor, you could say, she is the best supervisor. And it means that you're letting that person know that you think really good things about that person, right? It just means that you think that they are better than all of the other ones in the hospital, or than all of the supervisors you've had in your whole life, right? In all of your jobs. So when you say somebody is the best, it means that they're really, really good. So I'm going to give you some more examples. So if I said, I have a good dog, I'm just talking about my dog. I'm describing my dog, right? I have a good dog. And I'm saying they do a good job. They're nice and they listen to me, right? I have a good dog. But if you say, I have the best dog, I'm saying that my dog is the best, it's the most good, it's better than all of the other dogs that I've ever had, right? That I've ever owned, or that I have seen or met. So I'm saying that when I say I have a good dog, I'm just talking about my dog. I think they're good. But if I say I have the best dog, I am saying that they are the greatest. They are the best. They're the most, right? So they're better than all of the other dogs. So words in English to describe things. Let's just go over that really quickly. So we have the word small, right? Small, smallest. That's how we make it the most, right? To make it say, not only is it small, it's the smallest, it's the tiniest one. So then we have handsome. You would say most handsome. Big, you'd say biggest. Worried, most worried. Short, shortest. Expensive is most expensive. Weak, you would say weakest. Beautiful is the most beautiful. Strong, you would say strongest. Horrible is the most horrible. Now, you're probably wondering, how do I know if I put the word most in front of it, right? Do I use the word most? Or do I put this little est at the end? Est, smallest, biggest, shortest, weakest, strongest. Which one do I use? So if the word that you're using has only one beat, that just means one syllable, right? So if you say the word, you just say small, right? There's only one beat. But if you say handsome, that's two. Worried, two. Expensive, that's three. Beautiful, horrible, that's three. So if it's one beat, which means just one syllable, you want to use est, right? So big est, you add a est. Short, you add a est. Shortest. Weak is weakest. Strong is strongest. And if it's two or more beats, you use the word most before the word. So instead of worriedest, you would say most worried. Instead of expensivest, you would say most expensive. So just kind of remember that when you're deciding whether to use the word est, right? Weakest, strongest, or the word most. So here's a few more examples just to show you. So I have beautiful sisters. So if I say I have beautiful sisters, I am just describing my sisters. I'm talking about them. I think they're beautiful. But if you say, I have the most beautiful sisters, what I'm saying is, I think that my sisters are so beautiful that they are more beautiful than other people. I have the most beautiful sisters. So if you said, I had a bad day, right? You're just talking about that one day. You're talking about that day that happened. You just say, I had a bad day. But if you say, I had the worst day, what you're saying is this day is so bad, it's more bad than any of the other bad days that I've had. So when you say I had a bad day, you're just saying, oh, I didn't have a good day. That it was a bad day, right? Ugh. But if you say I had the worst day, you're talking about this was so bad that I just everything went wrong. It was the worst. It means that it is the most bad day. So you say, instead of saying I had the most bad day, you say I had the worst day. Now this one I think is the last one that we'll do for today. But so my phone was expensive. When you say my phone was expensive, you're saying, oh, I paid a lot of money. It cost a lot of money for me to buy my phone. But if you said my phone was the most expensive, you're comparing it to the other phones that were there. So of all the phones that you could have bought, of all the phones that you could have, bought at the store, at the phone store, it was the most expensive, meaning it cost more money than all of the other phones. But if you're saying my phone was expensive, that one isn't comparing it to anybody or anything. You're not saying, oh, this phone was more expensive than this phone. When you say my phone was expensive, you're just telling them it cost you a lot of money for you, right? But if you say my phone was the most expensive, it means that your phone was more money than the other phones at the store. So tomorrow we're going to keep talking about this and I'll keep trying to help you understand it better. So that's it for today.